Learn how to get and set values in a class using special methods. In this example, we are going to look at how we can use getters and setters to control how values are read and updated in an object. In this example, we want to create a car class and then use a getter to read its name. You can see my boilerplate code, and inside it I have included some comments as steps that we need to follow in order to achieve this. There are 5 steps through which we need to be able to achieve our goal for this example. So the number one thing is we need to create a class. Our class can have any name, but in this example we are going to be using car as a name. Then we add constructor to that class, and we create a getter, we create a setter, and then we use the getter inside our class. So let's move ahead and let's start making each of these one after the other. So the first thing is to create a class. So I'll go ahead and create a class keyword, and call the name car. And here is my class. So this class is just the blueprint for objects in this instance. The step 2 says add constructor. Then I can go ahead and add constructor inside it. So I'll call the constructor keyword, and I'll pass a brand as a parameter to this. And inside it, I can refer to the object. So I'll call this car name and set it to be equals to brand, which I have inside my constructor. Now, what that constructor is doing is that it's basically setting initial value. So let's move ahead and create a getter. So how do we create a getter? So we'll call the get keyword, then we can give it any name, but in this instance, let's just use car name and shorten it like this. So car name, this is our getter method. And then inside it, we want it to return our car name now, which is this. So this getter job is to read the value of what we have inside our class. Now let's move ahead and create a setter method as well. So I will go ahead and set and create a setter method, and it will use the same name since we are working with the same thing. And then this also will take a parameter like this, and then we can use it to set our car name to the value of whatever we have inside our X. So now we have our setter as well. Now, the purpose of the setter is that this will read the value, and then this will update it. So now let's now use this getter method that we already have inside our class. So I will come down here, which is outside of this class itself. Then I will make an object. Let me call it my car. So I'll create an instance from this blueprint that I have ahead, which is the class for car. Then I can make Ford and pass in Ford as the name of the car. And then I want to print out the value. Now, as you can see, if I call the name of my my setter now, let's see what is going to happen. See name. Now you can see on the screen that Ford is displayed as the name of my car. Now, you might want to ask that which of these C name is being called. The one that is being called is the one for this getter method, because this one is what is defined to return our car name. So what we have here, which is Ford, is a brand of the car that will be passed into our constructors rather, and then this will get it from our constructor and then give us the output, as you can see. So basically what we have here on the screen right now is that we first created an object. So when the class is created, then we now created an object, which is this, my car. Then after creating this, then this will be access, which is our getter, and then it will return value, which is what is getting displayed on the screen, as you can see. Now you will notice that here we are not calling this with a parenthesis. What I'm saying is that we are not doing something like this, because if you do something like this, you can see that the value has disappeared from the screen. And if we try to inspect what could be the problem, we are likely going to get hints about what we have done wrong. If you check our console, you can see my car dot c name is not a function. So what we are trying to do here, we are not calling a function, we are only calling a method. So we don't need that opening and closing parentheses, because what we are trying to refer to is not a function. Now, if you look at this basic example, you can see that with getters and setter, we can use it to control data. You set and then you get it. And it also looks like a normal property if you look at it, and even the way we are calling at it. And with this one, we can even add logic without changing usage. So getters and setter act like properties, but they allow us to control how values are accessed and change. And looking at this example, you can see that that exactly is what we have here in our example. So we're able to control the properties with the getters and setters method, and we use it to read value and also update it. Even though these things looks like normal property, they actually run function behind the scene. So these are some of the things that are already built into the language, and then they know what to do when they are being called upon in our use case scenario. Now, you might want to ask that, why not just use my car name directly like this and do something like this? You can see this actually output fault as well if you look at it. But what we're trying to talk about here is not about calling the name directly, but instead showing how getters and setters allow control and validation before they give us output of what we have. Because getters and setters make our objects smarter. They don't just store data, instead they control it, as you can see. So if I revert this back to seeing this will work like it was working before. And you can see Ford is already getting displayed on our screen.